It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies. And this week, welcome to the 200th episode of Film Rage. In cinema, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, 200, hey.
Also, we have Murray, who I remember 200 episodes ago said he probably would not say much on the podcast and just wanted to produce the shows. And now we can't shut him up.
I don't know about that.
What's the good word, Merman?
I'm still here.
You are indeed. And since it's a special milestone episode, we have an extra special guest, the voice of Rage or Dare and the host of The Nerdy Photographer, the god of rage, the almighty Casey is gracing us with his presence. How goes the battle, Casey?
It goes well. It's the bicentennial rage.
It is indeed. So, with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
You know what? I got a bicentennial boner going on. That's all I'm going to say. So, thanks to all who've been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. Or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/Film Rage YYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film, and we'll watch it. If you played anywhere in the world, even in one little crappy cinema in the middle of Panoka.
They don't have one.
Nobody knows where Panoka is.
I do.
But now they want to know.
But they don't have a cinema.
Well, that's enough of that. Let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
You know,
Are you ready
200
for this?
episodes of Groovy cannot stop the fabulous. Casey now has his own theme music.
He has his own music now.
This is the Casey God of Rage theme music for you all to get used to. Let's just hear it for a little bit, Mern. He's 16-bit of awesome. Now, Casey, the love of our life. Let's talk about you for a few minutes here.
Sure.
Other than you being the voice of Rage or Dare, tell our listeners why also that we would choose you from. Is it just because of the level of awesomeness that you bring to our podcast every time you show up?
I think there's a certain amount of just, the smooth, ragey voice that just that oozes awesome. I think that was part of it. I think it's also my encyclopedic knowledge of movies. I think we discovered that mutual connection fairly early on, and that was part of the reason that I was brought on board. Also, just because when Mr. Furious rage builds within me, I just can't control it. I think those three things just were it was the trifecta. Everything came together.
That's right.
Perfectly.
It's like a three-sided domino.
I can't even remember how long I've been doing this. It's been a while.
Been a while. I think it's coming up on an anniversary of a year.
About a year.
Yeah, it's coming up. I think it was the summer, maybe last year. maybe September. But you know what? It's felt like you've been here since the beginning.
It's one of those retcon things. I have been here since the beginning.
That's right.
Been lurking.
Always overseeing.
Yeah, on my show, you can do that. I can build that in. We can retcon those things.
So now this is a bit of a trick question, but when did you discover Film Rage yourself?
I think it was sometime in 2021. We became part of a mutual podcast group on Twitter, and I started going through all of the different people in the group and listening to podcasts and checking them out, and part of being part of the podcast community, supporting everybody. And I think I was maybe a little bit more supportive, as you are, than other people who claim to be supportive of other people in the community. You guys are wonderfully supportive of my show, and just in listening to stuff, I went through and listened to a lot of different shows. And your show was one that I identified with. Like I said, the topic of just getting mad about things, that's just being able to rant and rage, really stuck with me. But also just the love of movies. Since I was a kid, I just loved movies. That was just something that immediately drew me to you guys.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I know. It's funny. I hear people talk online all the time about how much they love movies, but they love certain kinds of movies, right? And then they limit themselves to actually good movies, in my opinion. But how that goes.
Well, they limit themselves. They don't open themselves up to the experience of something that's different. They're comforted by having the thing that they know they like, and that's all they'll watch. And I think that is. It limits your experience when it comes to film, because then you can't grow. You can't find a new genre that you might like, because you might like those art house documentaries, or you know what, there is a genre of just bad movies that I love. What I like the movies I just love watching. This is terrible. I don't expect it to be good. It doesn't make me mad that I'm watching a shitty movie. It's just I know this is crap. It is not intended to be good. It is just it is what it is, and I'm happy with that. That is I am totally happy with those movies.
Like Highlander.
Excuse me?
Highlander.
Highlander is a treasure in a classic piece of cinema, and don't you ever speak poorly of it.
It's okay. I think it's Murray's favorite movie too, so you're in good company.
I think so. Do like the Connery though.
It's got the greatest. The problem is that the side characters are better than the main character.
Oh yeah, he has no personality at all.
True dat.
Highlander's crap.
Bryce,
big surprise.
Words coming up to Canada.
That's right.
Oh, I did figure out something though from that movie when when somebody asks where his accent from, and he says, or they ask, "Where are you from?" and he says, "Lots of different places." So aggressive. But he is from lots of different places. He was born in Long Island, New York. Then his dad was a diplomat. Then they moved to Switzerland. He lived in Switzerland for 8 years when he was growing up, and then they moved to France. And so he is from lots of different places.
That makes the movie even better.
It does.
Yeah, no. But not Scotland.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, the Scottish guy is from Spain, apparently.
Yeah,
he's Egyptian.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with that. So thanks. We absolutely love the fact that you're on our podcast, and I have to beg Casey on a regular basis, please don't quit us. Please don't quit us.
I can't quit you guys.
Yes, that's the line I was looking for.
So we had a significant number of our friends online wanted to say some things about our 200th episode. So we're going to play a clip here from some audio of some of our dearest friends, and I'll give a quick list after that. And we have a couple more, and then we got some questions from one of our friends. So, ready to hear what they had to say about us?
Absolutely.
Hey, this is Jason with Invasion of the Remake, along with Trish Cocklet.
Hello!
And we want to congratulate Film Rage.
Film Rage.
You gotta say it with rage.
Film Rage.
Film Rage. On 200 episodes. It's really tough on the throat.
Film Rage.
200 episodes. That's 4 50s. That's 10 20s. It's a lot.
There's a lot of math in 200, but if you just say 200, it sounds really impressive.
It's a bicentennial.
But if it's like 425, it doesn't sound so great.
No.
So 200 episodes, that is awesome. Congratulations to Film Rage.
Film Rage.
Film Rage! Oh, God.
Dig deep.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may have your attention, we raise our glasses to celebrate a remarkable milestone. 200 episodes of laughter, wit, and endless entertainment with Film Rage Podcast. We at the Crime Diner raise our glasses high as we toast to 200 episodes of hilarity. Here's to the countless laughs, the unforgettable moments, and the incredible journey you've shared together. Cheers to Jim, Bryce, and Murray. Let's keep the rage rolling for another 200 episodes and beyond. Cheers.
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 Hey folks, Dre Tattoo Squid Podcast. Want to wish Film Rage a congratulations on 200 episodes. That is a lot to accomplish, and a lot of talking too, and I tried, you know that. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead, and congratulations guys coming to Long Island. Thank you very much.
Hey Film Rage crew, it's Aaron from I Had to Say It. I just wanted to congratulate you guys on the milestone 200 episodes. It's been a really fun ride so far, listening to you guys rage and curate the lists, and the addition of Casey is the voice of Rage or Dare. The learning experience of leaving Bryce alone for a week and finding out what happens when that happens. It's been a great time, and I've been happy to be along on this ride with you, and here's to 200 more episodes.
Hey guys, this is Shoot the Flick. I'm Scott Eisenberg.
I'm Frankie Sparks.
And we'd like to congratulate Film Rage
On 200 episodes! Woo! We're right behind you guys, by the way. We're catching up. But we want to celebrate your rage, your inner rage, your outer rage, your cinematic rage. We love it. We feed off of it.
Yes.
We delight in it.
Very much so.
And we hope to continue doing so for another 5 bajillion episodes. That's right, 5 bajillion. I said it.
Yes, exactly. We love feeling the rage. It fuels us.
Love you guys.
Hello, Film Rage crew. It is I, the Vern from Cinema Recall. Want to wish the fine gents at Film Rage Podcast a very happy 200th episode. Cannot believe it, guys. 200 shows. You wonderful Canadians are just freaking awesome. So, to Bryce, Murray, and Jim, happy 200 episodes. I hope you guys have 200 more episodes. I cannot wait to crash on your guys' couches when I come to visit you in Canada. Once I get my passport situated, there's a couple things I need to clean up first of all on my record, but it should be fine. It should be fine. Just gotta hide a few things and maybe bribe a few people, and I can be up there in Canada to party with you gents. Anyways, I love you all dearly. I'll listen to every one of your episodes, and I cannot wait for 200 more shows of Film Rage. 200 shows of Film Rage. Anyways, happy 200 episodes. Love you all. Goodbye.
Jesus, 200 episodes. I knew you guys were old, but that old? Congratulations to the Film Rage podcast from me, Ebony, here at Film Spark, Nuggies, Shooter Hooters, and whatever other podcasts I decide to create and by the time this comes out. You guys have been amazing. Jim is the biggest support of anyone here across the board when it comes to the podcast community. Your podcast is hilarious and absolutely amazing. You guys have the best chemistry, and I couldn't be happier than I am now for you guys. 200 episodes is absolutely insane. I cannot believe you guys have made it without dying. You're already pretty old, but it is what it is. In all seriousness, thank you guys so much for the support you've provided to myself and across the board. I know many of us, you guys mean the world. So thank you so much. Congratulations again. From one hootie tootie disco cutie to another, congratulations again. The best of luck and bye.
I love those guys. No, well, that's it, I think, for our actual audio clips. But we have three things from other people that could not get a clip out to us. So, as most of you know, we have another honorary member of Film Rage, and that's George from the best little horror house in Philly. And he says, and I quote, "Hey boys, George here, and just wanted to send over a few words to congratulate on 200 episodes in a world where around half of independent podcasts don't make it past 14 episodes. This is no small accomplishment, and not only to make it, but to thrive. Since my show is reliant on seeing the best movies, I love knowing that I can always count on Film Rage to let me get some venting out, laugh, and sometimes learn about movies I didn't even know existed. It's about time to add yourselves to the undoubted list. Here's to 200 more." And this is from CJ from Talking Chiz. "Hey guys, happy 200. Wish all the best and rage in your success. What does film mean? In the Webster Dictionary, it means a thin, flexible strip of plastic or other material coated with light-sensitive emulsion for exposure in a camera used to produce photographs or motion pictures. What does rage mean? Violent, uncontrollable anger. You put those two together and you have picture anger, or better yet, film rage. Keep up the great work." And now, for everybody to be involved, Lindsay from Ye Old Crime Podcast has asked us 3 questions to answer.
Alrighty.
So this is an interactive portion of this section. Yeah. So
do we answer all at once, or?
Well, let's take turns on this one. So
Okay.
We'll start with Casey. Do you have any plans or desires to attend any of the larger film festivals in for us, it's in Canada, but for you, it would be in the U.S.?
Desires, no plans at the moment. If anybody wants to hire me to photograph any film festivals, happy to do that.
Yeah.
I would love to go to South by Southwest or Sundance.
Nice. Two ones I want to hit too.
Not far from me, so.
Cool. What about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I've already gone to the Okotoks Film Festival, so I'm good.
Okay. There's no other ones you want to add to
That
that
was the
list in
highlight.
Canada?
No.
All right. There you go.
Okotoks. When you've gone to the best, screw the rest.
Screw the rest. I love it. All right, Murray, any big ones in Canada for you?
No, not really.
What?
Maybe Vancouver. TIFF has become too political, and I hear they treat their volunteers like crap. So
there you
no
go.
chance of ever doing that.
All right. Well, it's a good way for us to bash TIFF while we have
let's
the chance.
just ballot. So
Make sure that you're
looks
never
like we're
gonna
never
get
going to
invited.
No, we're
TIFF.
never
At least
going to
not-
TIFF.
At least not being invited to it. I guess
Exactly. So for me, it's always a good reason to go to Montreal. So I would love to go to Fantasia. That would be my dream in Canada. So
there you go.
Don't come right now.
yeah, no, I don't want to go now because supposedly it's smoky there. So
Real smoky.
So this one we're going to have a little bit of fun with because it says, if you had a biopic made about you, and because we all know how much on Film Rage we love biopics, who would you cast to play you? So let's first go around and talk about who we would choose to cast for ourselves, and then the rest of us will say who we feel that they should be cast as. So Casey, who would you cast to play yourself?
Well, I mean, back when I was acting, one thing I used to get from casting directors was Michael Keaton. But I honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, I at this point, at this stage in my life, it's Bradley Whitford.
Okay.
We're starting to look a lot alike.
All right. You're
Plus,
better
you know, he's
looking. Just saying.
Got better eyes.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Mer?
Well, Ewan McGregor, of course. I would have said Ryan Reynolds, but he's too good looking and too funny.
Well, you're pretty good looking.
No, Ryan Reynolds.
Well,
But McGregor, I think, could probably pull me off,
okay.
so to speak.
Brycey?
Yeah, that would be Ben Affleck, the finest actor of mine or anybody else's generation, is the only person for the role of me.
All right. Okay. Well, I wholeheartedly disagree, but okay. So for me, I have a choice of a couple, actually. So I would either pick, if they're on the dead side, I would pick Sam Kinison of my all-time. But if they had to still be alive, I would probably pick Elijah Wood, mostly because of his role in Sin City, and sometimes I feel like Kevin sometimes. So
The guy with no lines.
the one who eats people,
he
Kevin.
has no lines.
Yeah, he's creepy as fuck.
He is.
So let's talk about who we would cast Casey as. Do you want to go first, Bryce?
Casey. After careful consideration, I would say that Ben Affleck would be able to capture Casey like no other actor. But as an alternate, I would pick Brad Pitt, as not only does he have the range for the role, but he also has the rugged good looks.
Nice choice. I'm going to say if it could be anybody, dead or alive, it would have to be Sean Connery. It's the only one that could truly do him justice. But if it had to be alive, I would say Sean Bean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean Bean, nice. I like
Yeah.
that. Because wait, I die at the end. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
But-
that's
but at
a given.
the
You have
end
to
of
die
your
at the
biopic?
end of your life.
Yeah.
At the end of your life, yeah, you do.
Yeah. After you're dead, we'll make a picture about your life. And
That's
we'll-
right. And we'll cast Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Mur, who you picking?
Well, having never met Casey and based on his voice and ability to bring forth evil, Bruce Campbell, of course.
Oh, there you go. Even looks. Oh, wait. He's showing us. There it is. There's his Bruce Campbell Funko Pop.
There you go.
So
We're both from Michigan.
there you go.
There you go.
Bound to be. All right. Let's do Mur next.
I'm afraid.
What are you talking about? I'll go first. So, for Mur, I would say if it could have been anyone that's ever lived, it would be John Candy.
Yeah.
But-
but he's dead. Otherwise, I would have picked
Yeah.
him.
So if it has to be alive, then I'm going to say Tom Hardy. Because only Tom Hardy has the range to be able to play
He
Murray.
only has the rage that I do.
All right.
What do you say, Bryce?
I'll say Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck is the obvious answer, as no one could capture the angst that is the Merman better than the finest actor of mine or anybody else's generation. But if he was not available, I would go with Patton Oswalt.
Oh, great choice.
Okay.
Very good choice. All right, Casey, who do you got for the Merman?
I had gone with John Candy as well.
Uh-oh.
Just the
Yeah, I'll take
Canadian
Personality?
personality. But the other one I went through, I did the same thing. If it has to be alive, I went with John Bradley.
I don't know who that is.
He was in Game of Thrones. He's also in what was it, Moonfall.
Yeah.
He was the scientist in Moonfall.
That's all I know who that is.
It's awesome. Okay, let's do me next.
You next?
Yep.
All right. I'll go first.
I think I know who Bryce.
Being the finest actor of mine or anybody else's generation, I feel Ben Affleck would be perfect for the role. He would nail the essence of Jim. However, if he was not available, I would go with Kathy Bates.
Yes! I love Kathy Bates. And her and I are the same chest size, so it's perfect.
Yep.
All right, Mur.
You have similar figures.
It's true.
Well, I would have to go with Nick Cage, Jim's man crush. I would have said Keanu, but he's too tall.
And also too good looking.
That's all.
I mean, Nicolas Cage is pretty ugly, let's face it.
Nick Cage is a chameleon. He can
Hey,
play anybody.
man.
He does have his rage fueled quite a bit.
That's true.
He is a handsome devil.
He is. All right, Casey.
I went with Bob Hoskins.
Okay. Nice.
I love Bob Hoskins. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great. And wonderful range.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah. Now, he's dead, though, also, so.
Okay, so still alive, Nathan Fillion.
Okay. That's good.
That's
That's Merman's crush, by the way.
my other man
That's
crush.
that's right.
Next to Ryan Reynolds.
It helps that Merman and I are best friends, so then he'd hang around with me more.
There you go.
All right. So, well, now we've saved the best to last, and I have a feeling, I really have a strong feeling, not one of
Bryce
us
is gonna choose?
picked Ben Affleck to play Bryce.
That
the
just
movie.
doesn't make sense because Ben Affleck can play anybody, anytime, anywhere,
Exactly.
and do it
Badly.
effectively.
Very badly. All right.
I don't know why you hate on Ben Affleck. You just try not to. You're always trying to be cool, going with the.
We only have an
Nobody
hour. Let's not get
believes
into
what they
this now.
say when they're talking that smack about him. They all know.
That he's awful. It's true.
Yes.
So, Casey, who would you cast Bryce as Bryce?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
It's a totally different guy. Tim Blake Nelson, actually, was who I went with.
Okay. I like it. Mur, what do you?
Well, Ben Affleck, of course. Who better to play him than, in his opinion, the greatest actor of our generation? Because he would accept no one else.
Or
I'm sure.
anybody else's.
Yeah.
As a backup, maybe Matt Damon. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Okay, so I picked a 3. So if it's going to be a comedy, if this biopic's going to be a comedy,
Yes.
there's nobody who could play Bryce better than Paul Rubens. The death scene in Buffy the Vampire Slayer
Classic.
is how I picture Bryce most times when we're in cinemas.
Yes,
actually, so that would be my first one. But if it was gonna be like a drama biopic, I would make these two actors fight, not to the death, but I want them to reenact the scene from Star Trek where Spock had to fight Kirk and see who could actually win. And it would be between Paul Dano and Cillian Murphy. Now, who do you think would win that, by the way?
Oh, Cillian
think
Murphy
Paul
would.
Dano.
Really?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
going
see?
the other way.
I think
Okay.
Murphy would
Murphy's
fight dirty.
small.
He
He's
would
small.
fight dirty.
He looks so big on screen.
He's scrappy
Cillian
though.
Murphy-
I went to
Murphy's not
school
that
with this
big.
kid that came up to my knees and nobody wanted to mess with him because he's scrappy.
Yeah, and he's Irish too. so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's-
Scrappy
I'm telling
dude.
you.
Yeah, he knows how to drink.
but
so.
Dano is that German. Isn't he German?
I don't know. Well, sure. We'll say yeah.
Dutch.
Anybody doesn't believe us, they can fact check it. But I trust.
Dutch.
I trust it. Sure. Dutch-ish.
And, or was that it?
That was it. I
No.
did.
I thought you had 3.
I did. Paul Dano had to fight Cillian Murphy, and if it was a comedy biopic, it would be Paul Rubens,
There you go.
or just have Pee Wee Herman as himself playing.
Next
You.
question.
I think that I'm gonna the Paul Rubens thing. If you've seen Mystery Men, you know he has quite a great range.
Exactly.
indeed.
That's right. You just pull his finger. The next question is, if you could attend any film festival anywhere in the world, which one would you want to go to? And since I don't know if Bryce considers Okotoks Film Festival the best in the world as well, but let's find out.
To be honest, I'll go first because I don't care. Anywhere showing a variety of content is good with me. Doesn't matter if I'm watching it at Cannes or Venice or Berlin or Park City or Toronto or London or Melbourne or Hong Kong or anywhere else. As long as there is plenty of diverse content for me to watch, I am very happy to attend the festival.
And we keep throwing this out there because we're hoping that if any of those other film festivals hear us, they want to pay us to travel there and obviously bring our private photographer with us.
We call that in the business a shameless plug.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, I have zero
Shame.
So, yeah, I'm on board. Casey, what about you?
I would say the same. I mean, I'd love to go to Cannes or Venice and be like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this guy, Greg Williams. He does like all of these like festival photos of like celebrities, like at their hotel or like, at Venice, like on the boat, like going over to the festival, that sort of stuff. Like I would love to do that sort of like behind the scenes.
Well, if we ever get called into the big leagues to travel the world doing film festivals, we will make sure that they have to hire a photographer that comes with us.
Your private photographer.
Yeah, private photographer. Mur, what about you?
Well, it's Sundance. I mean, I've been wanting to volunteer there ever since I started doing festivals. And since I'll probably never have a film actually showing there, it might be my only shot.
Yep.
And
Maybe they need security.
I'd rather actually be a filmmaker, but yeah.
Okay, well, there's that too. I would choose, because I really love these guys. I've been following them for a long time. Their content is amazing, and that's the Boston Underground Film Festival. Or one that also looks like it has some pretty amazing films, and it's also really wacky, is the B-Movie Underground and Trash Film Festival in the Netherlands, also called BUTFA Festival. BUTFF Festival. So, I mean, I would just want to get a T-shirt that says the BUTFA Festival. Right?
I think that they do a lot of merch business.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go on their website tonight and see if I can get a butt shirt sent all the way from the Netherlands.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Oh,
I am sure
I
you
am
can.
on it. On it. Like crouton it. All right, well, thanks, everyone.
Okay.
On with the
The fact
show.
you found that festival tells me a lot about you.
Well, you know, I do like
he was
butt
looking.
fuzz.
He was looking for something else.
I was looking
It
for
just came
butt
up in the
stuff.
search for-
I was looking for butt stuff, and it missed. And there was a couple of letters that got missed, and it pulled up. What?
The cookies. The cookies betrayed you.
Yes.
There was literally a festival,
There's
a butt festival.
Sign me up.
I'm sure. Yeah, of course. All right. Well, we actually were able to get Casey to see 2 films too. So
Really?
yeah. So this is good. We went to different cities in the world, people, and saw the same movie. I'm thinking. Maybe. Well, I guess our ratings may tell different.
All right then. So first one we saw was the Boogeyman.
And you're right. They didn't play that music, by the way.
No.
The cover by White Zombie.
I'm always right.
I'm your boogeyman.
That's what I am.
The Boogeyman is another PG-13 horror effort to throw on the immense pile of all those PG attempts at horror that came before it. It is a story. I really can't talk today. It is the story of the Harpers, who seem to have some sort of presence in their home.
Who knew?
It had some decent performances from the Harper kids, played by Sophie Thatcher and Vivian Lyra Blair. David Dastmalchian has cornered the market on creepiness, and his portrayal of Lester Billings hammers that point home.
Fucking love Polka Dot Man.
Lester seems to have had dealings with some entity, kind of the same one perhaps as the Harpers. Marin Ireland is also, she's kind of quickly ascending to becoming one of my favorite actors, and she's stellar again here as Lester's wife, Rita Billings.
Oh yeah.
So as you can see, the acting was not the problem with this. The problem is it is all so familiar and with nothing original to offer, and its reliance on jump scare attempts to frighten instead of creating situations to fear makes the whole project just fall flat. This apparently is based on a Stephen King story. I can only imagine that it must be one that he scribbled on the back of a napkin and then crumpled it up and threw it away, only to have someone rummage through his garbage and expand it into a screenplay. Now, I did not hate this because I genuinely appreciated the actors on the screen doing the best they could with the material provided. On a side note, this seems to be set in the present, so why they did not just take their walking around phone, as everyone but me apparently has one of those, and use a flashlight to thwart off the light-fearing creature. I mean, am I wrong about that?
I think that might come up in discussion a couple times today, but we'll see. We'll see.
So long story short, this had just enough going for it to prevent me from
what?
From raging, but barely. You know, on second thought, they really need to stop making generic PG-13 horror, so that alone, I suppose, is enough to get me raging. So I guess the final verdict is that the Boogeyman is a rage.
What?
Or a meh. Nah, I'm definitely going with rage. Final answer.
Okay. Well, that had me going for a little bit. I was a little bit.
I'm just
questioning.
sick of PG-13 horror. It's
the worst.
It is the worst. Because nobody does it well. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't have a PG-13 movie, but every PG-13 horror movie is the same.
Are you sure about that?
Pretty darn sure, yeah.
All right, well, we'll find out. Casey, what'd you think of I'm Your Boogeyman?
The Boogeyman.
That's what you am.
Casey and the Sunshine Band. Are you afraid of the dark? Wondering if something is lurking in the closet or under the bed? The Boogeyman would have you think that what you're afraid of is some sort of primordial being that is fed on our fears and our bodies like some kind of evil spider since time immemorial. Based on a short story by Stephen King, it has a similar feel to other King stories, particularly The Outsider. Blend that with The Babadook, and you have this very familiar story of a family dealing with grief and a creature that wants to devour their fear and their sadness and their bodies. The movie packs a few good scares in there and culminates with a really in-your-face metaphor for the damage that untreated trauma and grief can cause for a family. It's a great topic. The treatment, however, is bland, like Bryce said. It's just this bland PG-13 presentation. And the Boogeyman criminally underuses the brilliant Chris Messina and David Dashamalian, but does show us how a character's home can be filled with burning candles. Everybody, mini blowtorch. Anybody? Go around with the mini blowtorch and just light up all those candles.
Absolutely.
You gotta have an assistant who
Can I just throw something in there for a second, though?
Sure.
But what was made it even more funny is that she thought this was such a great idea to light all these candles. However, the creature just came and blew them all out.
Right. It doesn't do anything. It's afraid of the light, except those candles.
The candles that it can blow out at any time.
Gentle breeze, and we've got some darkness.
Which leads me into my other question, my other statement. Buy a fucking flashlight.
Yes.
Somebody. Buy a fucking flashlight. Or a lamp.
Yeah,
a
or
lantern.
what about that giant lighting device she had in the trap room? Like she could have just had
it's
7 of those through
just
the
like
house.
Work lights. Those are just like work lights.
Yeah.
But those require a lot of power, and you usually have to plug them in. You know what? They have them that have that are like
generators
that are powered by
attached.
giant lithium batteries.
Yep.
It's like for work sites that are mobile and on location, so you can have them powered that you don't have to worry about an electrical connection.
That's way too convenient.
Yeah, or you can just have like a small lantern. Yeah, exactly. It defeats the scare of it. But I felt like somebody should have had at one point pull something out where that could have been a moment. Back to my review. I think this movie would have been a lot better, kind of reiterating what Bryce said, if it was darker.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needed to die.
Yes.
Somebody needed to die in here. Maybe it wasn't one of our main characters, but somebody. The blonde girl, I feel like she needed to die.
Yeah, the blonde girl definitely deserved to die.
You mean the mean girl?
Yeah, she deserved to die. And some other people, whatever. We need somebody to die. The therapist.
Yes.
That would have been the scare at the end. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been cooler. We'll just spoil it because, whatever.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Is there anything to spoil?
Is there anything to
I
spoil?
don't know.
I guess, but-
I mean, honestly, Jim, I told my wife when she got home, she's like, "What do you think of the movie?" And I was like, "Well, I guessed how it was going to end 30 minutes before the ending." And she's like, "Well, you do that all the time." I'm like, "It was 90 minutes long." I mean, I was like, "Okay, this is what's going to happen." And that's what happened.
And it did.
And I was like, "Okay." And I even kind of guessed what was going to happen past that ending. I was like, "All right."
No.
Yeah, it just needed. I felt like it needed to be R-rated. It needed to be darker. Some people needed to die.
Thank you.
I thought that it's a meh for me because I thought the actors were great.
The actors were great, and that's why
the actors were great with kind of meh material, which is why it doesn't make me mad. I'm not mad at it.
Exactly. You even said you weren't mad.
I know. I'm mad that they continue to make these PG-13
Yeah, but you can't blame
horror movies.
You're not mad at the movie.
You're not mad.
No, the performances were, as I say, they did what they could with the material they were given.
Can we remind our listeners? I think it was even last week where he was fucking handing out mez like candies. Like this, this movie was so terrible, but the acting was so great. It deserves a meh. But he can't go past that on this one. You can't just start drawing lines in the sand for whatever the fuck that you feel like. You know what? Today I'm having a poopy day, so I'm gonna change my rules.
And honestly, I felt like this was just like like I said, a rehashed kind of like watered down version of The Outsider, which is a much better Stephen King story.
And The Babadook is way better than that one.
Yeah,
so.
it was like the two of those merged together, and I was like, oh, we're gonna do it with a dad instead of a mom, and it's kids and like whatever, female kids instead of one boy child. They're like, oh, pitch meeting.
Yeah, it's so original.
Hey, math for me.
All right. The Boogeyman. That's what I am. So, Boogeyman is like most of the supernatural films of late. It had elements of Smile with the passing of the monster from people to people, plus the stay in the light concept for scary things that go bump in the night. CLFs that are so innocent when included, and makes for some extra awfulness to the monster and monsters up the monster level to a higher monster level. Terrible, uncaring teens who make fun of your mom dying. Yeah, so that's happened.
Hilarious.
That's the funniest thing to laugh about in a movie for sure. Jump scares, crazy impacted parents, etc., etc. But what this had the most of those that don't have is a relenting pace that kept trudging forward and tried to keep the suspense levels up as best it could. The let's not believe the traumatized CLF does get a bit old, as does the fact that we gain knowledge through the film about the darkness, quote unquote, is where the creature hides, and yet time after time our heroine, played by Sophie Thatcher, who plays Sadie, continues to throw herself into dark spaces again and again, which makes me think she's not just grieving, but she's also a little dense, because it happened quite a bit. For all the stuff that had the idiot factors, I'm going to call it, going for it, as well as professional psychologist completely shut down when his daughter is reaching out to him, seemed a little bit of a stretch.
Very tropish.
Yeah, it was very tropish. But although we've seen all this before, but I didn't hate it as much as I should have, I guess. And so for me, it was also a meh. Just because as it was progressing, it got progressively worse. But I did enjoy the first part of it, and I thought the pace was actually pretty good for this type of movie.
I'm taking a stand.
You do that.
They kept it short.
Yeah.
If you're going to create PG-13 horror and it's bad, it's getting a rage. Even if the actors were good.
The little girl, Vivian Lyra Blair, was really good.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah,
I thought she was great. She played Princess Leia on the Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus. She is fantastic. I thought she was wonderful. I thought Sophie Thatcher was great.
Yep.
Again, other than the stupid why. I was in a nearly empty theater this afternoon watching this movie. I shouted, "Why? You just listened to her say it hides in the dark. Why are you going down there? Are you
in the dark all the time."
space?
She's like literally just going, you know what I haven't been doing lately? Except for maybe 5 minutes ago. I'm going to go and see some dark.
Nice.
And you're right. She did carry around a phone with her everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she used it.
Yeah.
She used it in one scene. She's got the light on the
Nice. All right, Mur. What'd you think? So that's 2 mehs and a rage.
Well, as some of you know, I don't generally like horror films.
You don't.
I don't find them scary.
Nope.
In fact, I'm bored with most of them. One of the few exceptions is Stephen King, who really knows how to freak people out. I won't even watch those clown movies because clowns are scary. I don't imagine King had a lot to do with this beyond the original story. Now, the Boogeyman is a centuries-old legend that parents used to frighten their kids into behaving. Good parenting skills there.
Yeah, man.
Then they evolved into beating their kids into submission.
Yes, that's even better.
My generation. And now it's a timeout or taking away their electronic devices away from them. No wonder kids aren't afraid of anything anymore. Bring back the Boogeyman, I say. This movie had me hooked from the very beginning. Whether it was traumatic childhood memories or the fear of things that go bump in the night, I literally had chills for almost the entire film.
Oh, good.
Like, that doesn't happen very often in horror
No, it doesn't
films.
happen to you at all.
I even jumped a few times. I was actually very impressed by the young Vivian Lyra Blair, who people may know from playing young Leia in the Obi-Wan series. Insert a Help Me Obi-Wan reference here. I was genuinely afraid for the kid, and I don't like kids.
It's true.
And of course, there was the polka dot man. By far the creepiest thing about this film. Unfortunately, he didn't last very long. For me, the creep factor was way high during this film. Unfortunately, they made the same fatal mistake as most other creature features.
What's that?
They showed the monster. Did nobody learn anything from Jaws? Scary ass movie until the shark crawled up the boat. In 45 years, I think they would come up with better special effects. That and the completely unsatisfying ending turned it from a potential mondo to another horrifying meh.
Okay, well,
It's a good point, though. They shouldn't have shown the monster.
No.
Yeah.
yeah.
It should have been less of the monster. Like,
Yeah.
you could have
Yeah.
seen pieces of
Yeah,
the monster.
but not like they showed it, and there was, no reason that
Several times.
Yeah. and-
Okay, so I'm going to throw this out here. Like, the three of us have seen this, but Casey, did you happen to see Skinamarink by any chance?
Skinamarink?
I doubt
Yeah.
it.
Skinkamarink?
Skinamarink. It's on.
No.
It's on Shudder.
Dum dum.
And so if you haven't, I highly suggest you see that. Now, can you imagine if they Skinamarink the fuck out of this movie? How
Oh,
awesome it would have been,
Yes.
right? Like, we didn't see the monster at all. We just saw, like,
You didn't see a lot of
You didn't see anything in Skinamarink.
That's why it was
You
fantastic.
saw a lot of walls.
yeah,
Yes.
Walls and creepy sound.
Yes.
That's what you saw.
like,
Saw the inside of a closet. Got to look at some towels for about 2 minutes. It
yes,
was great.
it's such a good
Yeah, I mean,
movie.
that's how you build tension, though. Like,
Yes!
Your mind does way more to scare you, and that's the whole point of this movie. Is it in my head or is it real? And I thought that they could have done a lot more with, like, there was some moments in there where they had, like, oh, is that Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or, like, I thought that what they could have done was, like, oh, you could have brought David Dashamalian back.
Yeah.
And, like, had it, like, turning from, like, kind of like, what the hell is the movie? There's a movie where they did this where it's sort of like, it's actually, it's The Outsider. Changing from one to the next.
Yeah.
And I think that the due to my, like, own personal, like, dealings with grief and trauma, this is such a ripe
Yeah.
subject to use, and everybody goes through some sort of trauma or grief in their life at some point. You really could have delved into that in a different way to make something truly terrifying. If you really wanted to make,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't have to be graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could make something really scary with not even showing anything.
Yeah.
You could have killed people without showing something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so, maybe to Bryce's comment earlier is that, a PG-13 horror movie could still be really good.
It could be effective. If
Yeah, because there's they didn't have to have gore. They didn't have to have
there's no need
if
for
they
it in
could have
this
made
movie.
the fear
Yes.
and done it better. It could have been a fantastic film.
Yep.
Yeah. Could have been really good. I think it was a missed opportunity.
Indeed.
There was potential, but they missed it.
Yeah. So the Boogeyman was meh-ish
Meh-ish.
or rage.
If it
and
wasn't,
decent, meh.
it's still a rage.
Yeah. Okay. Well, his
Doesn't make me
opinions
mad.
change every week, so we'll see. We'll see how he feels next week about acting in a movie if it affects the rating of the movie. All right. Well, we also got to see the movie that a lot of people have been waiting for in the superhero world, which is Spider-Man Across the Spider. Sounds like a David Bowie song in the making, but Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is the second in the Spider-Verse franchise with animation that is incredible, action that is over the top, writing and humor is quick, witty, and fast. At times, so fast you will miss a lot of things. So just be ready. because that is absolutely 100% inevitable. There is so much going on, and the balance of what is right and wrong is continually being challenged. At times, it's overwhelming, but at other times, the story slows down just enough to let you catch your breath and feel the feels nice and slow. Really slow. For the layered character development and continue the journey we started with this family in the previous film. We are also, yet again, we get an overdose of Spider-Man, woman, horse, pig, Lego piece, or whatever else is pulled from every possible comic version or iteration of Spider People or Spider Creatures, maybe? This is the type of superhero movie that I want to see. It's a cartoon that is brilliantly crafted, where it isn't like any of the other superhero movies that we've seen, where it's basically rehashing a silly origin story and then having to... It allows the animators to be as creative as humanly possible. It's mind-bending, it's fun, it's silly, it's clever, and of course it's Mondo.
All right, then. What say you, Merman?
I'm going to keep this short.
All right.
And
Because I'm
sweet?
probably the only person on the planet who actually hated this film.
What?
What?
Okay, imagine your favorite films.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seeing them for the first time.
Yeah,
Yep.
got it.
Except someone cuts it off halfway through.
What?
And you have to wait a year or two for the second half.
Oh, the anticipation. That sounds awesome.
If they had
Yeah.
put part 1 at the end of the title, maybe people would have known about the cliffhanger ending. Much like Fast X, it was incredibly disappointing.
So wait, you're sorry. Just we back this up. So
Yeah,
you're saying
it was
Fast X come into this.
It was 2 hours and 20 minutes and nothing got resolved.
yes,
Which pissed me off.
Joe. Sorry, just that.
The fact that it was 2.5 hours and you didn't were no further ahead in 2.5 hours than you were at the start.
bad.
Yeah, we got to see that Peter Porker's coming back.
And if they were going to do that anyway, they could have at least cut 30 minutes from it.
No.
I thought the last 20 minutes really dragged.
Huh. Well, there is one man's opinion.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
right.
done.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Go on.
See, Casey,
feel
they're,
it.
they're
Bring it
always
on.
they're always cutting me off when I'm trying to talk. That's why I never talk anymore.
We couldn't get you to
Keep going,
talk
Murray.
200 episodes ago. And now
Yeah.
you say, now you won't shut
No, you
up.
won't shut up.
I say 3 words and Bryce has to interrupt me with something. Okay, secondly, it was too much all at once.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe the kiddies enjoy the overstimulation.
Eh,
I don't remember the first movie being like that.
Hmm.
And I enjoyed that one a lot more.
really?
It didn't help that some of the characters were drawn at different frame rates and
Yes.
glitching
I know.
and flashing
Yes.
and exploding all over the place.
Made sense.
This gave me a headache by the end of the film.
Huh.
Finally.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
I don't like Miles Morales.
What?
In the history of all Spider-Man, he is my least favorite.
What?
And spoiler alert, he wasn't even supposed to be a Spider-Man.
No.
I know. That's why he's
The
awesome.
spider that bit him was meant for a different Peter Parker.
Yes.
But
Who is and always will be the true Spider-Man. I found his character annoying, self-centered, and immature.
well, he's a
And,
kid.
and what the hell was up with being invisible and absorbing energy and electricity? What spider does that?
All the spider creatures have different.
Yeah, but none of the ones that I've ever
different
seen done those things. Does he make things float too, like a friggin' Jedi?
No, that's a different. That's a different spider.
Spider-Man.
But the only characters I enjoyed in this film were Spider-Gwen
Yes.
and Old Man Peter with the baby.
Alrighty.
At least I can take some solace in the fact that they're bringing back all the cool characters from the first movie for the next one.
Nick Cage.
But if it's as glitchy and headache-inducing as this one, I may skip it.
Aw.
And I don't watch cartoons anymore. I haven't for probably 40 years. I don't watch The Simpsons or Futurama or whatever else is out
What?
there.
even
Bring
South
back
Park?
the
I feel
good old
sad for you.
70s Spider-Man. I will watch that all day. This, for me, was a rage.
Wow.
And I'm Well, the only person on the planet who didn't like it.
Okay, mine's actually going to be short. Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Well, did Mondo?
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a well-written movie with complex characters and killer visuals. It should appeal to both young and old. I would think that the younger kids may get a little lost as this multi-dimensional story plays out, but I also believe that they will love every minute of it as the visuals alone are entertaining, even if you had no idea what was going on. Its mixing and matching of various animation styles is brilliantly done with purpose. The voice actors all bring their A game, as you can tell. They know that this is a film that deserves their best effort. Jason Schwartzman as the Spot, Issa Rae as Spider-Woman, Oscar Isaac as Spider-Man 2099, yes, and Daniel Kaluuya as Spider-Punk are a few of the standout performances. The magnificent blend of substance and style, along with emotional performances that pull you into the story, make this one of the best superhero movies ever made. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is Mondo.
All right.
I'd put in the top 5 superhero movies ever made.
I would say for me, it is probably like the 4th. And the 3rd would have been the first one.
There you go.
So, and then
Actually,
Logan is number 1.
I like this better than the first one.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up.
They're both good, though.
All right, Casey.
All right. Okay. So, awash with brilliant animation and filled with enough Easter eggs to take down Cool Hand Luke, the second installment in the Spider-Verse saga is a visual feast, just like its predecessor. The embarrassment of riches in regards to source material may actually be more weight than one film can bear. While the opening of the film shows us that the story will be told from Spider-Gwen's point of view, that POV shifts back to our original protagonist, Miles Morales, and we see how Gwen and Miles' journeys are parallel not only to each other, but to all of the other spider persons, animals, creatures, let's just call them spiders out there. The film almost forgets about Jason Schwartzman's brilliant Spot character, who has an amazing Being John Malkovich reference in his solo self-discovery scene. This is a villain of Miles' own making who threatens everything Miles holds dear, but the tension of what he might do is put aside for large swaths of the movie while we deal with Oscar Isaac's Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. By the end of the more than 2-hour film, the story feels like it is about to unravel before we hit another plot turn that forces the story to wrap up in order to cut off the story in preparation for the next installment. Across the Spider-Verse teeters on the edge of losing me, but the visual flair and all of the incredible nods and references and the fact that everyone is in their own style of animation, I thought was brilliant. They're in their own frame rates. They're in their own style of animation. It's fucking fantastic. I thought that was incredible. It's a soft Mondo for me, but it almost succumbs to Saga syndrome. And I'll say this because it's a great story. I think the story is great. I think the performance of Daniel Kaluuya as Spider-Punk is awesome. Everybody's great. I think that they're just trying to jam so much stuff in there. They're throwing so many things.
It's a lot of movie.
It's a lot of movie.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's I felt like Murray said, even though I really, really enjoyed it and thought it was great, I thought it was a lesser film than the first one because they tried to throw so much stuff in there. And I feel like, here's my thoughts.
Yep, I love it.
For why this storyline does not work well, why it was cut up the way it was, is because of John Mulaney's rehab and Nicolas Cage's very, very busy shooting schedule. They are being pushed to the production of the next film since they are Spider-Pig and Spider-Man Noir.
Yep.
They couldn't use them in this movie, so they had to rejigger things a little bit to push it down the line to figure out what they were going to do. But two things that really also stood out to me: the Lego sequence,
yeah,
which was fucking fantastic.
It was so good.
I did enjoy
and
that.
you know what? It is animated by a 14-year-old kid.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Who did Lego animations of the original Spider-Verse movie trailers, and the producers, the animators, saw them and thought they were so great, they contacted this kid and asked him if he wanted to do
That's
a
awesome.
segment of the movie. That's incredible. The other thing that got me is that, like I said about the animation of each person, like Spider-Punk, I thought was fucking incredible. Like,
Yes.
everything that he touched was done in his animation style.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was fucking great. Like, I thought it was amazing. But yeah, like again, there's like so many things going on.
It's a lot.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
man, like-
it's a lot.
I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, like
There
that's
are
what I mean.
Three
Like,
villains.
I
There
know.
are 3 villains.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, guys, did you not? But the other thing that got me was the introduction of live action people. In
yeah,
the film, which
Blink
I
and you
thought
miss
was
it.
like Bryce said, you know, he like avoids the origin story. No. This is all about origin stories.
everybody's
About
origin
everybody's
story.
origin story,
Yeah.
and we're even going to bring in Amazing Spider-Man into this with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
and I was like,
and they had Tobey Maguire in
ooh,
it too.
yeah, and
No-
I was like,
no Tom
okay,
Holland.
you know, I thought that personally thought that was a little too much.
No,
That's where you started like pushing the envelope too much for me, because Miguel O'Hara brings up, don't even get me started on, you know, Earth 1999 and Doctor Strange. I thought that's a great reference
Yeah,
to the
Doctor
live
Strange,
action
too.
films.
Yeah.
That brings it in without like putting it too much in your face. Also, the Glover
Donald
appearance
Glover
as the live action Uncle
Yeah,
Oscar. Is it Oscar? Aaron, Uncle
Who is
Aaron. Because he played Uncle Aaron in the first
Did he?
Tom Holland movie.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like Miles Morales doesn't show up,
Yeah.
but he is the character in that first Tom Holland. I'm like, oh, I mean, don't try to connect them too much.
The movie's a total geek fest, though. I mean,
Oh, it's great.
This you
the Ben
cannot-
Reilly
yeah.
character. I don't know. This is the thing. Like, as far as like Murray was saying about like Miles, yeah, in the comic books, this is exactly what like you're talking about. He's not supposed to be Spider-Man. It's the ultimate Spider-Man, ultimate universe. Like how like Miles becomes Spider-Man. And the Ben Reilly character, which is voiced by Andy Samberg, he's a clone of Peter Parker, or is he the original Peter Parker?
Yes.
The whole thing about that, there was so much in there, like the T-Rex Spider-Man, creature, whatever. I was like, oh, what's going on?
There's so you know what it is though, as you see this movie and the animation is mind blowing. Like there's never been animation like this ever been created. Like I was a huge fan of animation when I was in my 20s. This blew my mind. And one of my favorites is Ralph Bakshi. Like I just love his stuff. I love Don Bluth's stuff. And you know, this is just so layered. Like it's just so many layers that you kind of want it. And I don't normally want to see very many movies again, but I want to see this again. I want to see it again and again and again, because I know there's so many things that I missed.
I want to slow it down and watch it
At half speed.
Yeah.
Make it 4 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely will be watching it once or twice before the next one comes out.
Yeah. I wonder if they've actually kind of got a lot of that in the can. Does anybody know?
I would.
The next one?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, like I hope we don't have to wait another 4
No,
years.
they've got a release date already. It's next
Okay.
year.
Oh, okay, good. So they probably have done a ton of it.
Yes, indeedy.
Nice.
All
All right,
right.
so I guess we'll see what happens to Murray.
What, in a year from now?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah, the big problem I had was, I love the bad guy, like the Spot guy, but he disappeared for an hour. Like, I wanted to see Miles go after him, and he didn't, so...
We're going to see that in the next movie.
So that's what kind of...
With his super friends.
Yeah, sure.
Super spider friends.
Anyway.
Spider-tastic?
Yeah.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Sweet rage. You know, we've kind of talked about it this week. My rage this week, it's somewhat... Well, I'm going to give you a couple rages. One in particular, we've kind of already alluded to. If you're going to make a PG-13 horror movie, just put the extra effort in. We know it's not scary. Just make it scary. And you don't have to
zhuzh it up too much. It's just, it's not cool.
You don't need a lot of blood. You just need to make it scary.
Yeah, you don't need PG-13 horror movies. If you're gonna make it to try and get more kids to go see it, fucking make it scary. Look at Poltergeist. I think Poltergeist is the best example of this. That movie, I think it was, when it came out, I think it was PG, but now they've re-rated it PG-13. Yeah. And that fucking clown under the bed scene is probably one of the best scenes that's ever been made in a horror movie. And, you know, this movie we saw this week could have been that. It could have been the clown under the bed scene from Poltergeist done in 2023. So if you're going to make PG-13 horror movies, just make it right. And the other rage I'm going to do is I'm going to re-rage at Cineplex again, because the other week we were there and we had a situation and they pissed me off then, and we got to Landmark this week for the whole of our episodes, and Murray had an issue.
Well,
and
same issue I have it every time I go.
That's right, but there's the difference. Is the manager came out and he was like the sweetest guy on the planet.
Yeah, give me a refund.
Yeah, and he gave you the refund, and it was like, you know, we want to make you happy. Thank you for coming to the cinema. It was like, where Cineplex was just like, whatever, go fuck yourself. So that's my double rage this week. Terrible PG-13 movies, and I'm just going to rage on Cineplex again.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, passing the baton to you, Casey.
I will agree with that PG-13 horror movie bullshit. It's, you know, it gets on my nerves. And it leads me into my rage, which is, why are there so many fucking trailers ahead of movies these days?
And
it
commercials.
Drives me insane. Yep. I don't know how it is in Canada.
Yep.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 fucking minutes.
Yep.
Like, I was late to the movie today to go see Boogeyman, and I knew I was fine because I was only 10 minutes late.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I still got 10 minutes before the movie actually begins. And it's driving me nuts. It's like I had things to do. I managed to slip in this matinee viewing because I had a lot of things going on. But it's also like, okay, it's an hour and a half movie. It shouldn't be over 2 hours to watch the movie. When I was a kid, it was you got 3 trailers. It was 6 minutes. And maybe like one little like, hey, let's all go to the lobby.
That's right.
Yes.
You know, like, it was for a minute. So you had 7 minutes from when the listed showtime was going to be until the movie started. You knew exactly. We used to roll in when I was a kid. You'd roll up to the theater like 3 minutes after, and you're like, okay, we got to rush in, and like, because we're going to hit the last, trailer before the movie starts. But now it's 20 minutes. It just it makes a movie going experience, especially because I'm going to re-rage about this. I think we talked about it before. Why movies being so fucking long?
Yep.
Like, if it makes sense, fine. But like, I shouldn't have like a 3-hour
experience,
movie going experience
every time, almost
every time for no reason. Though I think a lot of the 2-hour stuff these days, like I said about Spiderman, I think that it could have been shorter. I agree with Murray that I think that it could have been shorter. In the end, the last half an hour could have been tighter. Could have brought these like plot lines together in a different way that I think could have been a little bit more cohesive. But it still probably would have been a 2-hour movie. But there are others that are like 2 hours when you're like, what? Like, one thing I will say for Cocaine Bear, even though it's a shitty movie in my opinion,
yes, it is.
It's not long. It is not long. It's like 80 minutes.
Yep.
Like, fucking great.
Tight.
I didn't, like,
tight.
This is tight 80. Like, that's good. Like, you have more movies like that. 80, 90 minutes.
Well, especially for like horror movies, right? Like,
and comedies.
And comedies
you
and
don't want
rom-coms.
90 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
You know what it's doing, though, Casey, in my opinion? It's kind of reversing it. It's like, I think what the cinemas are trying to do is trying to give people reasons to come back. But people can just go online and search trailers themselves. Like, people go on YouTube and just go, oh, look at the trailers, right?
Right.
By putting too many in now, I think it's pissing people off. And they say, you know what? I don't want to go and waste another 20 minutes extra of my life.
When I went to see Spider-Man, there were groans in the audience.
Yeah. Not another one.
Another one.
Well, yeah, when we went to see it, there was 3 animated movies they had trailers for?
Yeah.
All Disney crap.
Right. And you know what? Whatever. Then it's 3. Then okay, you get 3 animated movies. That's it. You're done.
Yeah, I think we had about 6 or 6 trailers.
7 trailers.
Yeah, it might have been 7.
Minimum 6.
There's 7 plus plus 2 commercials,
and then probably a GMC commercial.
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah. But the thing is, with the 2-hour movies, I think I discussed this before when I raged about it in a previous episode, is they're doing it for streaming reasons. They're making the movies 2 hours long because it keeps people. Their metric is if we keep them on the platform for 2 hours, they'll stick around and watch something else. Like that's.
That makes no logical sense whatsoever.
I don't know what it is. Like, but they're also paying. Like, I feel like Nope could have been 20 minutes shorter and a much better movie, but it got pushed over to 2 hours and 1 minute. I think it's part of their streaming deal, part of their licensing and publishing streaming deals, or they have to make some of these movies have to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which I think is an unfortunate impact on the art form.
So I would say we're all 100% in agreement with your rage this week.
Yep. All right. Well,
Next.
mine is kind of segue into that.
What?
This is not my music because it's a special episode.
It's a special rage episode.
And it's a rage.
Yes. This is raging music.
This is raging time.
So for the 200th episode, I have a rage that's probably been used before.
What?
But is especially relevant to me right now.
What?
I happen to work in the film and television industry.
Yes.
Which is currently shut down because of the Writers Guild strike.
Yes.
And the big issue this time? Streaming services.
What?
Apparently writers are not getting paid for stuff that airs on streaming services because it's being streamed over and over. So because of those cheap-ass companies like Netflix and Prime, I can't do my job.
And get paid.
I realize it's a bit hypocritical because some of the projects I work on are actually for streaming channels. But the merman's got to make a living. And if I ain't working, I sure as hell ain't paying for any streaming services. Long live Tubi.
There you go.
The other issue with streaming services is it's keeping people away from movie theaters. As most of us can tell you, quite often when we go to a movie at a theater, it is usually deserted. Sometimes we're the only 3 people in there. Our favorite art house cinemas are disappearing across North America. I recently saw a film shot in one of those old theaters. It was a horror film, not done especially well, but the location was magnificent. This was like an old theater from the 40s and 50s. It was gorgeous. In the end, they dedicated the film to a couple of theaters in Detroit that were actually permanently closed because of the COVID and poor attendance. And the pictures were just amazing of these theaters that are no longer in business. This will continue to make me rage that people would rather sit on their couches at home and watch stuff on their phones rather than experience the joy of a big screen and movie theater popcorn. Shame on all of you. That's my rage.
Ditto.
Yep.
I will say that's a cultural thing too that's changing. Is the people who are willing to watch stuff on their phones. As a generational change. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't either.
It's not the same scope.
Well, I mean, just as an example, I have a friend down in the States who doesn't really go to movies. I mean, she usually watches it on Netflix, or I guess she actually can order the DVDs, which is going away as well. She actually just saw Top Gun Maverick, which I know you both hated, but why would you see that on a 20-inch screen?
I wish I could.
The only reason to see that
why would you see that on any screen?
No, it's seen in a theater. It's
love that movie.
See, thank you, Casey. It's meant to be seen in IMAX, not on somebody's laptop or on a phone. That.
What, Star Wars 10? What are you talking about?
Exactly. Anyway, it's just I
Go
don't
see it in
understand.
Use the Force,
theater.
Tom.
I don't understand it, but anyway.
Yeah, I didn't understand Top Gun either.
Yeah, I mean, I
Go see it in a haptic theater where the whole theater raises and they
Oh,
exactly. I'm coming to visit you, Casey.
Awesome. It is awesome. It's a movie going experience. Let me tell you
It is something I've raged upon in the past.
Something I actually left the cinema and asked for my money back over.
We literally were in one of those theaters, and Jim got off the seat and started sitting on the steps. I finally got fed up, and they were playing the same film across the way 20 minutes later. So we just walked across and sat in some comfortable chairs.
Well, it actually threw me out of my fucking seat.
It was horrible.
I was shaking all
It's
over
the
the place
worst
so much,
thing ever.
and then it finally just spit me out. It was like the scene from Jaws when the leg went floating out. It was terrible.
I would have loved to have seen Maverick
To like jump on what Murray's saying about the writer's strike. This is a really serious thing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really like people should know about, like that they're trying to do, is to own the likeness of actors and their voices. That is what the producers of these like Netflix and other like, companies are trying to include in their contracts, are unlimited rights to use AI to recreate actors and their voices.
Yoinks.
They will, if you, for example, if you did a season of a cartoon that you voiced, they'd say they own your voice from that cartoon.
Wow.
They can use to push it into AI and then create as many seasons of it as they want using your voice without paying you any more money.
Wow.
That is the things that are in the contracts that they're trying to push on people right now. Is why this is such a huge issue.
This would never be said ever before, but I actually am so on side with Mark Ruffalo right now.
It's a potato.
He's a fine actor.
He is.
Mark
He's a potato.
Ruffalo gave me a sausage once.
Really?
Oh,
Nice.
Really?
Grilled it up and handed it to me the other-
Wait,
Not
what
that
are you
soft.
calling a sausage? Just so I know.
No, I think I saw on a talk show. He used to work at like one of those
A sausage
one of
selling?
those 50s drive-in places.
Is that where you got
Yes.
this? Is that where you got Mark Ruffalo's sausage? Was from a 50s
No, it was
diner?
an art festival. It was an art.
Oh, was it
fair
festival?
in, New
Oh,
York.
nice.
And he was like, he was doing it to like promote like whatever the clean water stuff that he was doing.
Oh, the
Like,
water
everybody-
one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a
And,
pretty big advocate.
And he was just like handing like using his celebrity to just. Talk
There you go.
Did he say the words, Casey, would you like my wiener?
Nice. He said, "Can I get you a sausage?" And I said, "As long as it doesn't have any gamma radiation," because this was like a week after Avengers came out.
Nice.
And he laughed and he was like, "No, I promise it's not green."
They might have some pubic hair, but you know.
That's funny.
But it ain't green.
It
Oh.
ain't green, yeah.
All right, Bryce, what do you got, baby?
All right. My rage this week, I thought was
What?
going to be the fact that Hypnotic, starring the finest actor of mine or anybody else's generation, Mr. Ben Affleck, and directed by Robert Rodriguez, never got a theatrical release in my local cinema.
What?
Then I watched it on VOD, and it was really quite bad, and I really didn't care that I didn't see it on the big screen.
What? Wait a minute.
Of course, Ben Affleck was brilliant, but he can only do so much with a terrible script. So then I thought my rage would be that Rodriguez and Affleck get together for the first time, and this is the crap that they made? But then I thought my rage would be that Rodriguez would put the finest actor of mine or anybody else's generation in such a terrible film. But then I thought, why am I blaming Rodriguez? So then I thought my rage would be that the finest actor of mine or anybody else's generation, Mr. Ben Affleck, would agree to be in such a subpar film.
That sounds like a good one.
But finally I realized that what I really should be raging about is the fact that Machete Kills in Space is still not in theaters.
Yes. And not even made yet. Even more importantly. So he's
Sitting on a cutting
You
room
know
floor.
what? So you're saying he spent all this time and effort to make a terrible movie with one of the
When
worst
he could have
actors
been
ever.
making Machete Kills, not with the finest
The
actor
worst
of mine or
actor of
anybody
our
No, you said Ben
generation.
Affleck, right?
Yeah.
I did say
Worst
Ben
actor
Affleck.
of our
Okay,
generation.
just so we're clear. But yeah, he could have been doing Machete Kills in Space.
Yes. I mean, it's not. It's ticking me off.
Yeah, okay.
You know what? I think it's unanimous. That is by far the best rage this week.
You think?
I think you're confusing him with Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck? Yeah.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Ooh, we almost got it twice.
We almost got a double whammy. two, the press one.
Someone
you
put it
know,
on repeat.
You know, one of the things that, this is our 200th episode. We may make this to 200 minutes. This could be like the...
We might have 200 minutes.
Yeah,
we're
we might make 200 minutes. I'm
God,
not,
I
I'm
hope
not sure.
not.
So, we're having a quick list episode just because we could make Casey watch another movie. So
a terrible movie in this case.
It was.
Parlez-vous français?
Oh God.
We got to see Lucky Day.
Yes, Lucky Day.
Lucky Day. And it was
Boy,
all of our lucky
it was
day
sure
to see this movie.
It was sure mine.
We have Clifton Collins Jr. Versus the mesmerizing Crispin Glover. Or Crispin Glover. Or
Glover?
Crispin Glover.
He's a Glover.
It's Glover.
Yeah, it's Glover. Just like Lover. You know what? We kind of bypassed our needing to reveal all at once. So I will just go first. I thought, everybody knows how much Crispin Glover is my number one creep crush and has been my entire life. But I think Clifton Collins Jr. took him out in this film.
You think so, do you?
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to go on board with that. Clifton Collins Jr. was more mesmerizing from the first time we see him to the last, although his last speech did not ring true to his character. He delivered the lines in mesmerizing fashion. Crispin Glover was mesmerizing at first, but his shtick wore thin 45 minutes in. And by the end, I was just sort of annoyed by him. And by the way, just for an added little thing, Lucky Day, don't go see this movie. It's terrible. It is a complete frickin' rage. But Clifton Collins Jr. is kind of amazing in everything he does, and he's kind of amazing in this.
Well, he's
too.
Mesmerizing.
He really
I
is.
agree. I think that Clifton Collins, I wanted more of his character.
Yes.
I thought he was great.
Oh.
I thought everything he said was like, he was in it.
Yep.
He believed it.
Yep.
Whereas Crispin Glover, I felt like was phoning it in and doing a character he has done a number of times before. Like,
and not even as good.
And not as good. Like, that's the
good.
key. Like, you see him in, like, if you see Crispin in the
Charlie's Angels.
Thank you. That's the ones I was exactly what I was thinking. You see him in that. He's fucking brilliant in that.
Yep.
The way he's smelling the hair piece, and he just brings off this level of creep. Where in this, like, he had creepiness, but it wasn't as creepy as I think he could be.
I also think this is a failure of directing and writing on Roger Avery's part. For the people who are not familiar with who Roger Avery is, he's the guy who helped co-write Pulp Fiction and wrote like Killing Zoe, True Romance, all these things. He and Quentin Tarantino sort of invented that gangstery genre in the 90s things, and he most famously wrote the Butch Goldwatch segment of Pulp Fiction. Got another screenplay that he wrote. But this just feels like he's like I was reading a bunch of reviews of it after I watched it, and they're like, "Oh, it's a satire of like the movies that he and Tarantino created." I'm like,
no.
but if it is, it's a bad one.
Yeah, they didn't satirize enough.
A horrible satire of them, and it's just like there are moments in like, okay, apparently Roger Avery is in love with safecracking and French accents.
Yes,
this is like Killing Zoe. I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, it's the. In the Gold Watch sequence, like the girlfriend has a French accent.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Like,
I think there was some funding from Montreal.
Oh man.
I think that's what it was.
Like his best friend gets blown away at the art show, and he's like 2 seconds of like, I'm so sorry, buddy.
Time to run.
The key.
Yeah.
Like he's fucking out the door.
Yeah.
There's a lot about this film that had problems with. But you know what? As everybody knows, it has to be unanimous.
That's right.
So,
and one of us watched it on pay-per-view, which usually
paid money for it.
I paid money to watch
Me
this.
too.
Because normally, because I don't have any streaming services, as I've mentioned, unless it's on Tubi, I'm not going to be watching it. But this one, because of who was in it, I chose to pay the $5 to watch it.
Nice.
Throw a monkey wrench in your guys' plans. I like Crispin Glover. I've never liked Clifton Collins. I've seen him in like 3 things, and I don't think he's mesmerizing at all, to be honest with you. Because I'm pretty sure I wasn't around when you guys put him on the list, because I wouldn't have put him on the list.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I like Crispin Glover. I thought every time he was on the screen, I was laughing my ass off. I thought he was awesome. I think maybe because this film was like partly funded by Telefilm Canada, maybe they have some kind of rule where they have to have a certain amount of French in the movie. Because, I never got why. I mean, whether it was shot in Canada or it was supposed to be set in Canada. Because, apart
it
from
wasn't set in Canada.
Because the main character, who was an Aussie, everybody else was French. Even his daughter spoke French, and she wasn't French.
But I think they came from Montreal. The idea was that they were in Montreal. They
were in
moved.
Montreal,
and Crispin Glover's character thought he was French.
And he had done the job in France, which is also like a Killing Zoe throwback.
Oh, I never saw it.
Yeah.
But no, I like Crispin Glover better. So there you go.
Wow.
Sorry.
Well, you know what? We make the rules. We got to live by them.
You made the rules.
Now, I know that Casey was not privy to this, but did you happen to see a Kelly Reichardt film?
No, I haven't.
God damn you.
I've been busy.
So we've been trying really hard, Casey, to get Kelly Reichardt on to the undoubted list, and Bryce is the only reason that she's not on there yet.
I need to watch a couple more movies. I'll get there. I've thoroughly enjoyed everything. Like I'd already seen 5 of them, or 5 of them. I think 5 of them.
Well, I hope it's more than 5 because that.
Oh no! Now I've seen 6.
There you go.
So I got 2 to go. It's fine.
Nice.
We'll get there.
All right. Well, that's it for the list this week.
All right then.
Yes.
Murray will give us something for next week, some other time.
I know what that means.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate the 200th episode of Film Rage. I have decided to take over this segment of Rage or Dare. After all, I am the god of rage, superhero of sadism, the tremendous torturer, the villain of the vindictive, who also holds the record for causing rage to our masochistic hero. And I am the breaker of Bryce.
Yes.
And I continue to deliver the rage you all deserve week after week. Oh yeah, where was I? Oh, yes, there is no back to the regular programming this week. We did not live through 199 episodes of Rage to take chances on you possibly picking from the listener bag of meh. I have specially chosen the most completely rage-filled, ragiest rage for you 2 rage horrors to watch. So no, you do not get to choose what you're watching next week. I have chosen, and you will watch Sex and the City 2.
Didn't I put that in my
If
bag?
you
at one
thought
point?
I don't
the
think
first
anyone's
one was
seen it,
bad,
have
wait
we?
until the girls take a trip to the Middle East. I'm not kidding.
That
I wish
movie
it was
is
a
terrible.
joke.
That movie is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it. I think that I watched it on this segment.
I think I might have bought it at one point and put it in my
But did we see it?
bucket of
I
rage.
did.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
All right, I've got a whole list.
Oh yeah,
I've
he's
got
got
a
a
list.
backup.
Thank goodness I
Make
don't
them
have to
watch
watch
the first
that again. Hey,
No,
what?
they've already watched the first one.
Oh.
Yes.
That was definitely on the list.
Yes.
The first one was definitely on the list. I knew that, which is why I chose the second one. So
Which
then
is definitely
I'm
worse. Wait a minute.
Second
Then
one.
did we see the second one? Maybe you just saw the first one.
Do you think
I know I
first
bought
one?
it. Maybe it's in my bag still
Well,
to come.
both
but
of us watched Sex in the City. You're right.
Oh, maybe
Maybe
it's-
we haven't got to yours yet,
Maybe you haven't
Murray.
got to it yet.
You know what, Casey? We're going to take that challenge.
go ahead.
Because
Did I not watch the second one?
no, you watched the first
It's in
one.
the Middle East.
And yeah,
So
March 9th,
No,
2022.
I watched the one in the Middle East.
Did you? Because we
Yes.
don't have it on our list.
It's not on the list.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have watched it unless I had to.
Does it have a different name? Is there a different name for it?
No, it's just Sex in the City too.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's the one where
apparently-
Ian comes back.
I think I watched it.
You know what? Give us
feel-
another one. Maybe we'll have to watch them both.
The other one, my other choice is The Pink Panther, the 2006 Steve Martin.
God, Steve Martin Pink Panther. Oh my God. Oh,
Really?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, really.
It's just like Inspector Gadget, but live action.
Yes. Oh, there was a live action Inspector Gadget. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's
I
a whole
almost-
story.
There's
behind
a
that.
story behind that
There's a whole
one.
issue with that.
Okay, Steve Martin's Pink Panther. Oh,
Alright.
I'm already afraid.
2006.
Didn't he make like 2 of
Yeah.
them?
I'm already afraid.
Should be.
I know I watched Sex in the City too.
I know I did too, but for whatever reason, it's not on our list. So you know, we'll do some research. But you know what? Good for Casey for always being prepared. He's the Boy Scout.
I got a
of our
list of 15 more.
Just in case we said no 14 times. It's like, I
Yes.
got one
I
more
got one
for you.
You can send those to me, and I'll put them in your rage bag.
I will.
Yes.
That's right.
All right, then.
Oh, that was awesome. Now we have to spend some time
I'm
with
Casey, the host of the Nerdy Photographer Podcast. Are you curious about photography? Perhaps you run a creative-minded business? Then you'll want to tune into the Nerdy Photographer Podcast. Episodes feature stimulating interviews and discussions, as well as a little bit of totally useless information, all set inside the frame of a science fiction comic book adventure. So what are you waiting for? Adventure awaits. Head over to nerdyphotographer.com or find the Nerdy Photographer Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Nice. That is you. Tell all our listeners everything they wanted to know about you, but were afraid to ask. Like, tell them, I mean, your promo told us a little bit of stuff, but what do you got on the go these? Because you know what? Lately, your episodes have been freaking amazing. You've had some great guests on talking about some great things. So what's coming up for you?
We have had some really great conversations lately. We had a conversation with an intellectual property lawyer about the recent Supreme Court ruling in the United States about copyright infringement and intellectual property, which is something that's really important for artists, especially filmmakers. That's a really important topic. I just put out an episode today, my 199th episode, which I got to talk to. No, not 199th. My 99th episode.
Woo!
With a guy named Andy Bernstein, who's been a professional sports photographer for more than 40 years. He was like the Los Angeles Lakers team photographer. He's been since the early 80s, when like Magic Johnson and Kareem, like the Showtime era, which was like when I was growing up and watching basketball. That was like, it was a huge deal. I was talking to him about a lot about that, but he's been there through like Kobe and Shaq. He wrote a book with Kobe. He wrote a book with Phil Jackson, who's the coach of the Lakers, and before that, the Chicago Bulls with Jordan, and now with LeBron. He's out there, and with like the Kirk Gibson home run in the World Series. Like, he was there to photograph that. He was the Dodgers team photographer at the time too. He's like incredible stories, and learning about him from like growing up. He grew up out in Brooklyn. Eventually made his way to the West Coast. It's a really great story. I'm really happy with it. Getting some really good guests lately, and more to come. So my 100th episode is coming up soon.
Congrats, buddy.
That'll be a little adventure episode. We do a lot of things. I try to have fun with it. I don't like to get too serious on my show. So people who might be thinking like, oh, is it all about technical photography stuff? And it's not. It's a lot of stories. It's also a lot of like things that are just like, interesting to learn about or have discussions about. It's not like, oh, you have to be like sitting with a camera and I'm going to tell you how to take a picture of something when you're just listening to my voice. I think it's fairly laid back, and we try to keep it topical.
Yeah, no, it's for those who haven't listened to it, it's amazing. I highly recommend it. I listen to it. Yeah, I get to listen to you twice a week. So
there's the fun like science fiction element.
Yeah.
Of it that I like wrap the interviews in with little stories. I think that's I've considered like pulling those all out so that they're like to make the storyline. I try to tie in like each episode has a little frame around it. Like I try to tie it into whatever topic we're discussing that week. And I don't know. I just like I thought it would be fun. Like at episode 25, and now I'm like almost 75 episodes later doing it, and I start to go like, oh man, this is work. This is a lot of work. I'm writing like a little sketch for every episode. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort because I'm also doing all the voices. It's fun. I enjoy it. This is a labor of love for me. So I hope people will come and stop by and listen and have some fun.
Yeah. Tell everybody your website.
You can find me at nerdyphotographer.com. You can also find me on the social medias, all the social medias at The Nerdy Photo. That's at The Nerdy Photo, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Sweet. Well, we cannot thank you enough for being part of our family and for being, you're not even an honorary member, you are an official member of Film Rage, so we thank you so much. And be prepared, we're hopefully going to get more of Casey this coming year because we're going to do some special episodes, so be ready for that, everybody. So thanks.
Thanks, Casey.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, we love it. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks, Extended Film Rage family. You can find in our show notes. Again, thank you to the God of Rage, Casey, the nerdy photographer. We love you so much. Find us everywhere on social media at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 please make us a rage. That's it for Film Rage 200th episode. That's it for this week. A rage on.
Rage. Rage on.